Today, the 19th of May 2021, marks the third day for the Honorable Members of Parliament swearing in. We have the story in a bulletin today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nahawa Kajura, and Africa Today starts with the headlines. Honorable Oulanyah hands over officially the Deputy Speaker's office. And Congo's President Nguesso appoints the son as a minister in the new government. And Ethiopia aims to plant 20 billion trees by 2022 in the Green Legacy project. And pledge to lift COVID-19 vaccine patents to allow Africa produce vaccines. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's have the news in detail. Now, General Muhoozi is sworn in today to represent the army in the 11th Parliament, with other members of Parliament representing different sectors, including Honorable Moses Magogo, Minister Esther Mbayo, and others. We have the report.
The swearing-in continued the third day today, with 132 total members of Parliament who have sworn in. Amongst them included the commander of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, who represented the army, General David Muhoozi. After swearing in, General Muhoozi promised to secure security and improve on the welfare of the army officials. On the security operations that are ongoing, Mr. Muhoozi said they are intended to secure the country and putting in order the special operating procedures as guided by the Ministry of Health. Amongst other members of Parliament sworn in were Honorable Aida Nantaba, who promised to lift the status of the people of Kayunga district, especially the women. Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, the Member of Parliament for Butambala, after swearing in, said his fellow members on the opposition, mostly the National Unity Platform, are fully trained to represent the interests of the people and put the government on pressure without fear. Honorable Matthias Impuga promised to fight the rule of law and develop the people of Masaka. Other MPs included Shamim Malende of Kampala, Engineer Moses Magogo, who promised to lobby for football, Minister for Presidency, Honorable Esther Mbayo, Shatis Kutesa of Zimbabwe, and others.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, the outgoing Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, has handed over officially his office, waiting to announce his next move tomorrow. Our reporter has more.
It was around 11 o'clock in the morning the outgoing Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, arrived at Parliament. Oulanyah went direct to his office to hand over officially. Honorable Oulanyah handed over all the office instruments and files to the Principal Private Secretary in the office of the Deputy Speaker. After handing over, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah promised to announce his next move tomorrow. However, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, MP for Butambala, said as opposition they are not going to stand behind any candidate that NRM party will announce. According to sources in the NRM SEC, the nomination process has kicked off today by issuing out forms to incumbents and the NRM Electoral Commission, which will announce the nominees on Saturday. Then the NRM caucus will sit on Sunday for choosing the candidate whom they will stand for as Speaker and Deputy on Monday 24th. The event of choosing the Speaker will be presided over by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, as required by the law.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on, the newly elected Member of Parliament for Chiboga has vowed to promote agriculture in his constituency in order to improve on the livelihoods of the area residents. Our reporter has more.
Changwanzi district was carved out of Chiboga district by the Act of Parliament in July 2010, with 8 sub-counties in Chiboga North County. Prior to the creation, district services operated from Chiboga town, approximately 35 kilometers from Butemba. The reasons given for forming the district included the long distances that residents had to travel to access district services at Chiboga. The district has only one county, that is Chiboga West County, commonly known for farming as a source of income. After taking his oath, the newly elected Member of Parliament for Chiboga West County constituency, Abdu Mutumba, promised to form cooperative society groups and also change the type of farming that was initially practiced by locals in the area.
So omulimu gwange gwakunga balimi tubeere nga tukola cooperative societies ebibiina by'obwegassi ate tutunulire n'okuzzaawo emmwanyi kubanga ekirime ky'emmwanyi wano mu Buganda kyatukwatirira nnyo. Then n'okubeera nga balima ku birime ebirala era ebya value nga fruits, miyembe, butunda n'ebirala. Then ng'ogyeko ekyo n'okulima ku mmere. Ensuku disitulikiti y'Ekiboga disitulikiti ya Nsuku. Ensuku era abagezezaako okuzirima bali bulungi era bafuna ssente. Kubanga omuntu atunda enkota y'ettooke siringisi mutwalo ku lusuku toyinza mugeraageranya n'alinze okutunda kiro ya kasooli ku siringisi 3 oluvannyuma lw'emyezi 6 aba takola. So twagala okubakunga bazzeewo ki ensuku.
He also advised residents to practice pastoral farming in order to increase on their sources of income.
Kati tukubiriza abantu tiwadde ng'oli mulimi beerawo n'ente 2 ez'omu kiyumba ng'ozikolera ku zero grazing. Olima omuddo bw'oba oyinako eka nga 2 k'osobola okusimba omuddo, ente ezo zijja kuyamba kubanga okulima n'okulunda biri complementary. Obusabwe buva wali mu nte ate n'obuleeta mu lusuku tusobola okubeera nga ate tufunamu n'amata. So omulimu omunene twagala kugukola mu bantu baffe bongere ku incomes zaabwe kubanga enfuna y'abantu bange mu constituency ekyali nki mbi so ng'ettaka ly'Ekiboga ddungi.
In the 10th Parliament we did some other things which we are not finished, and now in this 11th Parliament our struggle is to make sure that we are really done within the shortest time possible. I know we have a lot of work to do, but we have hope that things can be done right.
There's a twin student in Parliament here. Okulanga omusolo gugibwa timba ne ku engines ne ku life jackets nga tewali kittibwako wala abantu baffe oba oli awo ebbeeyi ekendeereko omusolo egyo kinaaba nga gifuddeko.
The other MPs that we spoke to also promised to implement the constitutional laws of Parliament and continue with the work that was left unfinished in the 10th Parliament. Nalugo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Thank you so much, our reporter Nalugo. Now let's go for a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, in our international news today, critics have started rising about the decision made by Republic of Congo's President Denis Nguesso over the appointment of his son Denis Christel Nguesso in his new government. We have the report.
The appointment of Denis Christe Sassou Nguesso, the President Denis Sassou Nguesso's son, came after the resignation of the previous government earlier this month, in a procedural move after Sassou Nguesso, one of the world's longest-serving leaders, easily won a 5th term in a March election when his main opponent died of COVID-19 on polling day. The new government has 36 members, including 4 ministers and 8 women, according to the official statement issued early this week. The 46-year-old Denis Christe Sassou Nguesso, who will head up the newly created Ministry of International Cooperation and Public-Private Partnerships, is under probe by the U.S. federal prosecutors over alleged embezzlement of $7 million from the publicly owned National Society of Petroleum of Congo.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on in our international news today, a trial against Guillaume Soro and 19 of his relatives accused of plotting against state security opened on Wednesday at the criminal court in Abidjan, Plateau. Our reporter has more.
The prosecution is charging Soro and some of his accused relatives with participation in an armed gang without exercising any command, unauthorized possession of firearms of the first category, and acts of maneuver likely to compromise public security. But defense lawyers in the case are absent in the trial, having announced their refusal to participate, saying they will not lend their support to a sham trial. The accused include former president of the Ivorian National Assembly, Alain Lobonon, Afusiata Bamba Lamine, Kone Kamarate Suleiman, Kasi Kwame, Jean-Baptiste, Zebreti Suleiman, Kamagate Adama, Sulinu Jomon Emmanuel, Guillaume Soro, who was once an ally of the then President Alassane Ouattara. He commanded a rebel force which backed the current president in his fight against Laurent Gbagbo, who refused to accept he had lost the 2010 elections.
Well, moving on, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is leading a campaign to plant 6 billion trees across the country this year, which forms part of his Green Legacy project to promote ecotourism and combat the effects of climate change in the country. Our reporter has more.
At the launch of the Green Legacy project in a meeting hall filled with freshly watered seedlings on Tuesday, Abiy, the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize winner, encouraged Ethiopians to plant billions of trees. He said the Green Legacy project, which began on Tuesday, will continue until September and October. Minister for Agriculture, Omar Hussein, said that over 10 billion trees were planted in the first 2 years of the Green Legacy project, whose aim is to plant 20 billion trees by 2022. This year, the Ethiopian government also plans to send 1 billion seedlings to neighboring countries.
On a promise to lift the COVID-19 vaccine patents to allow Africa produce its own vaccines was the key to pledge at the end of the summit on financing African economies hosted by Paris on Tuesday, May 18th. Our reporter has more.
The Paris Africa Summit on Financing African Economies that brought together some 30 African and European leaders and major international economic giants saw France, the host, agreeing on reducing the vaccine patents to allow Africa produce its own vaccines. President of the African Union, Felix Tshisekedi, noted that the challenge was to convince the African people and counter efforts that have sought to demonize vaccination. Senegalese President Macky Sall, for his part, stated that the vaccination campaigns carried out in industrialized countries do not guarantee health security at all. French President Emmanuel Macron said participants have decided on a very strong initiative to massively produce vaccines in Africa with funding from the World Bank.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on in Africa Today healthcare workers in remote areas of Western Kenya have started walking from village to village in a mobile vaccination drive to reach people who live far from health facilities. Let's have the report.
Villagers in remote areas of Western Kenya that are seemingly far from the hospitals are now able to get the COVID-19 jab without necessarily going to the vaccination centers through working health workers. Harriet Awol, a nurse from Sierra County Hospital, said that they started yesterday with a few numbers and today they are at 300 and something numbers, which they are willing to increase as they move from one village to another. Leah Okada, a vaccine recipient in Nyambare village, said that it is hard for them to leave the village to reach the hospital because they don't have money to travel, appreciating the great favor extended to them by the health workers. Kenya's vaccination drive has been progressing at a slow pace due to the lack of sufficient doses of the vaccine that saw the country vaccinating only less than 2% of its population.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on in our sports news today, Mbarara City recovered from 2 goals down to outmuscle Vipers 3-2 at the St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, on Tuesday, May 18, 2021, in what will be remembered as one of the most remarkable comebacks in this season. Our reporter has more.
Two first-half goals from league's top scorer Yunus Sentamu and Paul Muchurezi gave the Venoms the command after opening 45 minutes. Midfielder Solomon Okwalinga pulled a goal back for the Ankole Lions with a well-struck kick from the penalty mark in the 56th minute. The first-half substitute Bashiru Mutanda made it 2-2 and Jude Semugabi scored the third memorable victory. Sentamu scored the first goal after beating an offside trap to slot the goal home past goalkeeper Sekeba, much to the protest of the Mbarara City players. Muchurezi scored the second goal after following an initial shot by Sentamu with goalkeeper Sekeba making a slight touch. Semugabi, who was rewarded with the Pilsner Man of the Match accolade, scored the third goal for Mbarara City with a brilliant finish from inside the goal area to give the Ankole Lions a maximum points. Mbarara City completed a double over the Venoms, having also won the first leg 1-0 at the Kacheka Stadium in Mbarara. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mutabazi reporting.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, before we end our bulletin, let's have a recap of our top stories. Honorable Olanya hands over officially the Deputy Speaker's office. And Congo's President Nguesso appoints the son as a minister in the new government. And Ethiopia aims to plant 20 billion trees by 2022 in the Green Legacy project. And pledge to lift COVID-19 vaccine patents to allow Africa produce vaccines. Now, we continue to congratulate every member of parliament who made it to swear in today, and we pray they meet the demands of the people in their constituencies. Now, thank you so much for joining us from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.
This is Africa, and that was the news.